This man, the same man who was stacking $3 million in under 12 months, is on his phone asking strangers on the internet if they need their lawn mowed. The same man who walked into a jewelry store and bought 3 luxury watches in a single visit. Not 1, not 2, 3 at the same time. The same man who had the entire internet in a chokehold, who had brands sliding into his DMs, who had podcasts paying him just to show up and talk, who had the biggest 20 versus 1 events in internet history. That man broke, asking for yard work. And here's what nobody is really sitting down to talk about. Not the how, but the speed. We are not talking about a slow, grinding, years-long decline. We are not talking about bad albums and fading relevance over a decade. We are talking about 1 year, 12 months, 365 days from the absolute top of the internet food chain to posting on social media asking if anybody needs their trash taken out. That is not a regular fall from grace. That is a cliff. And what happened between the peak and the pavement is one of the most important financial cautionary tales the internet has ever produced. Not because Lil Woody is a bad person, not because he deserved what happened, but because the exact same thing is happening to someone else right now, and it will keep happening until people actually study the story instead of just laughing at it. So that's what we're doing today. We're studying it. Stay with me because this goes deeper than you think. Before we get into the money, before we talk about the cars and the watches and the spending and the crash, you need to understand who Kenneth Copeland actually is. Because if your only introduction to this man was a meme or a clip of him on the witness stand saying "I don't recall," you have an incomplete picture. And incomplete pictures lead to incomplete conclusions. Kenneth Copeland grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Not the Atlanta you see in music videos. Not the Atlanta of Buckhead rooftops and Bentleys on Peachtree. He grew up in the kind of Atlanta that produces either athletes, rappers, or cautionary tales. Sometimes all 3 in the same person. Raised in a single-parent household after his father passed away, Woody was navigating loss and poverty before he was old enough to fully understand either one. Growing up in Atlanta's low-income neighborhoods in the 90s and early 2000s meant being surrounded by trap culture, street life.
In 2026 and beyond, if you run into a large lump sum of money, and I'm talking like, let's just say, I'm gonna start at 50K to $1 million. If you go broke after you run into this large lump sum of money, man, then you really just proves my point. You prove my point. Most of you niggas are just idiots, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think Lil Woody blowed his money. What I'm thinking, like I tell y'all, when he came out of jail, Woody was hot. Woody got hot in jail. What made Woody hot? Because hell, he used to make me laugh when he sit in the courtroom, you know, making old little silly ass facial expressions. You know, when he was getting questioned by the damn attorneys and, you know, the judges and all that, the DA and all that. So Woody got hot in the courtroom. That's the only nigga I know done went to court and got famous doing court. Like, really? Well, I take that back. Besides OJ Simpson. Who else? Well, OJ Simpson, he was already famous. Nah, I can't count him. He was already famous before he went to court. But I'm talking about just an average old broke dude. Nobody know him except for the people who he hang with. He go to court and now the whole world know him. So what I believe happened once he got out, you gotta keep this same old crazy shit up because that's how people came in contact with you. So now you ain't acting crazy and silly no more. People tired of hearing all these same old Young Thug stories, these YSL Rico K stories. That shit old now. So what I believe, man, he done died down. Like, he ain't as hot no more like he was when he first got out. Now, he's still getting booked, but if he can't keep them numbers coming in, People ain't finna keep calling him to come sit down and do a podcast. Paying him 10, 15 grand. But they ain't getting but like 75K views. You know, probably barely breaking even. So I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. You know, he probably ain't blowed all his money, but then, like I say, a lot of these niggas are dummies, man. You got all kind of shit to invest in nowadays. You know, hell, you could have been. Some of y'all just gonna have to start back working with y'all hands, bro. Because I noticed most people ain't gonna have longevity, man, on these social media platforms. Especially if you switch up. Like, if people took a liking to you because you were crazy and you were just keeping up a whole bunch of shit like Charleston White. Charleston White, he's still acting the same. And that's why people still booking him. That's why he's still pulling in numbers. He's still talking crazy. So, you know, I think that's what it is, man. You know, he ain't as hot no more like he was when he first got out. But, like I say, man, once you run into, like in Georgia, man, you can literally take 50 racks, bro. And if you play that shit right, in a couple years, them 50 racks can turn into 5 million. But like I say, these niggas, they be so dumb and so stupid. And then they already been broke as hell their whole life. Most of these dudes around here, man, ain't never even touched 10,000 before. And I'm talking about dudes in they damn 30s and 40s. Like, they ain't even never touched 10,000 at one time. So when you give them 100,000, 150,000, these folks lose their goddamn mind. You know, now they finna go buy all the clothes, all the shoes they wish they had when they was younger. They feel they got to catch up. They gotta catch up. They gotta play catch up. So they'll go buy a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes, 2, 3 bullshit cars. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, okay, you done made you 100 grand, you done made you 150 grand. Shit, what can I invest in? Like, start you a, okay, the average black business dealing with a man, it's gonna be a barber shop, a detail shop, and maybe a restaurant. But the thing about the restaurant, right? The restaurant, it might be on the verge of getting shut down. You know, depending on how they rolled it out. But other than that, man, most folks just gonna have to start working back with their hands, bro. Get you like 4, 5 Sprinter vans. Get you some contracts with Amazon. Because you got niggas who making like a ton of money doing that shit. I'm talking about more than some of these content creators. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I got a homeboy who got him he got him a Sprinter van, but what he got a contract with, I guess he got a contract with certain doctor offices. Like he drop off like medical supplies and shit. He got certain little towns in Georgia where he drive and drop them shits off. He got a contract with somebody. And he just doing that. Him and one more. He got one more person working with him. And he pay that dude. You know, so it's still like he working for himself, even though he got a contract. So it's like you'll really never be fully independent because you got to get your supplies from somebody. So it's like Yeah, you ain't gotta clock in like a normal job, but it's just hard to be 100% fully independent unless you making your own product and you're selling it. But if you have to buy the product from somebody else and then sell it, then yeah, you independent. But then again, you're not fully, because you still need somebody else for the product. You know, so enough of me rambling, man. I don't think Lil Woody, blowed all his money, man. It just, he ain't as hot no more as he was when he first got out of jail. Because people were looking for him to keep that same persona going. But he was trying to change and talk about God and all this, which is cool. But that ain't how they found you, yo. That ain't how they found you. They want the same person that they discovered inside a Fulton County courthouse. So, with that being said, that's what I think it is. He ain't as hot as he was no more.